always remember. Next question is explain async-await syntax and error handling. So async-await is a modern JavaScript syntax that makes working with asynchronous code look and behave like synchronous code. So when you declare a sync function, then it always returns a promise. Now that promise can be fulfilled, can be rejected, anything. But when you talk about await, then await pauses the function until the promise resolves or rejects. So it's basically a cleaner alternative to dot then and dot catch chaining. So let me give you a very simple example. Here I will say function fetch data, okay, and from here we are going to return, I'll say new promise, okay, and inside this we are going to have this resolve and reject. Very simple, we have done it many times. Okay, now inside this we are going to have this set timeout that is going to execute, let's say after maybe 1000 milliseconds, that is 1 second. Now inside of this we are going to resolve this promise by saying data received. Okay, pretty simple, nothing fancy. Okay, now if you want to reject, you can reject if something went horrible. Okay, so if I come over here, now we can solve this issue with async-await. Now what we are going to do is, instead of having a normal function where we are returning something, we can simply make the function itself asynchronous by calling async in front of it. So when you say async function, let's say show data, okay, inside this show data you can have a try and catch block that helps us to handle error. So here we had a resolve and reject and dot then and dot catch to handle error. Here in this asynchronous function we have try and catch block. In try block we are going to try for some code to work. If it does not work, then the fallback will be cached in the catch block. So here I can activate a try block. Inside this you are going to write all of the code that will eventually result into a success. So here I can say const, let's say data equals to await. You have to call await. Await is like chaining that then and catch data in this fallback. Here you can call the fetch data function like this. Okay, now what it does, fetch data function, now what it does is it waits for the promise to resolve. So I can say waits for promise to resolve, waits for the promise to resolve. So when you say await, then you are simply saying that, hey, keep waiting until the promise is resolved. And when the promise is resolved, we are simply going to print this data, and then data will be printed. Now in this else part, we do not activate else, but we activate this catch block. Now inside this catch block we get an object that is called as error. Now here if anything goes south, you can simply call console dot, this time you do not call log, you call this error method. Okay, and now here you can simply print this error, and now you can have error like this. Okay, so now if I save this, then it will handle any of the rejection. So if I call this show data, if I save this, you'll see you get data received. Why? Because we do have a data right here, we do have a data. But if I reject something from here, if I reject data not received, now you'll see our catch block will be activated. Error data not received. Let me fix this typo, error data not received. So this is a very simple async and await. Now draw the parallel. First we were in callback hell, then we solved that callback hell using promises, and then we went one step ahead and then solved the issue of promise by understanding about async and await. Now this is the preferred way with which we nowadays write JavaScript code. We make a function asynchronous by simply calling async keyword in front of a function, and then we use await keyword that awaits for any of the promise. From here you can send the promise. If it resolves, the data will be shown here. If it rejects, then you can call this catch method in this catch block, and you can call this console.error to check for any error. So this is async await, and this is how you do error handling using async await keyword. Next up, what is the prototype chain and how does inheritance work in JavaScript? Now if you want to learn all of this in greater detail, then please consider checking the JavaScript course. There I have explained all of this in great depth.